Have you ever noticed that the people who constantly explain themselves rarely appear powerful? They explain why they made a decision. They explain why they said no. They explain why they changed careers, ended relationships, or chose a different path. Meanwhile, the most confident people often do something very different. They make a decision, communicate it clearly, and move on. No lengthy defense, no emotional courtroom, no endless attempt to convince everyone. And the older you get, the more you realize something uncomfortable. Excessive explanation is rarely about communication. Most of the time, it is about approval. Most people don't over-explain because they love talking. They over-explain because they feel judgment. Deep inside the human mind exists an ancient desire to be accepted by the group. Thousands of years ago, rejection from the tribe could mean danger. That survival instinct still exists today. The environment has changed, but the psychology remains. Whenever someone questions our choices, many of us immediately feel pressure to defend ourselves. We start building a case. We present evidence. We explain our intentions. We hope that if people understand us, they will approve of us. But there is a hidden cost to this habit. Every unnecessary explanation quietly communicates uncertainty. It tells people that your decision is still open for negotiation. Imagine saying no to a request. A confident response is simple, but many people feel uncomfortable leaving it there. They begin adding reasons, then more reasons, then additional details. Suddenly, a simple boundary becomes a 5-minute presentation. The irony is that the more explanations you provide, the more opportunities you create for resistance. People start questioning your reasons instead of respecting your decision. They debate your logic. They challenge your priorities. They look for exceptions. What could have ended in 10 seconds turns into a negotiation. Not because your reasons were bad, because your excessive explanation invited discussion. One of the most important distinctions in life is the difference between communication and justification. Communication shares information. Justification seeks permission. Communication says, "This is what I have decided." Justification says, "Please tell me my decision is acceptable." At first glance, the difference seems small, but psychologically, it changes everything. One position comes from confidence. The other comes from dependence. Confident people communicate clearly because they respect others, but they do not require agreement in order to move forward. They understand that disagreement is a normal part of life. Approval is optional. Conviction is not.
Something interesting happens when you stop over-explaining. Some people become uncomfortable. They are used to having access to your reasoning. They are used to influencing your choices. They are used to questioning every decision until you feel obligated to defend it. But when you become clear and concise, the dynamic changes. Your decisions begin feeling final. Your boundaries become stronger. Your words carry more weight. This doesn't happen because you become aggressive. It happens because certainty is difficult to challenge. Human beings naturally test uncertainty. They rarely test conviction. The lesson is not to become cold, arrogant, or dismissive. Healthy communication still matters. Honest conversations still matters. The goal is not silence. The goal is confidence. Explain when information is useful. Explain when clarity helps. Explain when someone genuinely deserves context. But never explain because you are afraid of disapproval. Those are two very different motivations. One comes from strength, the other comes from fear. And people can often sense the difference long before they understand it. At some point in life, you realize that freedom requires disappointing people, not because you want to hurt them, but because living honestly means some people will disagree with your choices. The goal is not to be understood by everyone. The goal is to understand yourself well enough that disagreement no longer controls you. The more you need everyone to approve of your decisions, the less ownership you have over your life. And the day you stop defending every step you take is often the day your personal authority begins.